What's up, y'all? Thank you for joining us for episode 3.
Thrizzy.
You're rocking with the Mitchells, and we're gonna be talking about dating and what else are we talking about?
Being single and ready to mingle.
I'm single. I want to mingle.
But first, if you're really rocking with the Mitchells, make sure you subscribe right now. All right, subscribe, like, share, and even feel free to comment. We would love to hear your feedback. But let's get straight to it as we rock with the Mitchells. We're gonna rock with ourselves on this one. So let's go ahead and kick it off. Go ahead, Joy.
Okay, so in the past week or so, we've had a lot of people approach us, text us, and we've gotten a lot of good feedback from the show. Thank you, everybody. We've gotten a lot of people who have asked us to talk about dating, and some people even asked us about how to abstain from sex.
That's deep.
How to not be hoes in these streets. Basically.
Hoes. I don't have hoes.
You absolutely don't.
Different area codes.
You absolutely don't.
But what if I did?
You want me to catch a case?
Rest in peace, Nate Dogg.
We had a lot of people approach us about that. A lot of people felt like it was important, and so we felt like, we had a duty to kind of talk about this topic. And of course, this is our point of view about it. So of course, it may not work for everybody. It may not necessarily be something that you rock with. No pun intended.
Pun intended. Rock with the Mitchells.
But we're gonna get into it.
Dating.
So what is dating? Dating is about collecting data. What I mean by that is you're getting information. When you go out on a date, you're getting to know a person. That's collecting information. Seeing if you all are a good fit. If it could go further than just, dating. You see if you're really... I'm doing again, aren't I?
You are. You said She said about 50 times already.
Ooh. I don't know why I do that. It's because it's late. It's late. I can't think.
I don't think the time of day or night
I don't do this when it's
influences
early.
the amount of that
In any way.
She said.
I'm going to try not to say
Please.
Don't count them.
It's already been 20 to 50.
So.
Y'all keep count.
When you go out on a date, the purpose of it is to get to know that person, figure out if you like each other.
Let's say it before.
Figure out if you like each other, learn about their likes, their dislikes, their beliefs. If you all really mesh. What do you think?
I think dating is an opportunity for you to meet people, much like what my counterpart just said. Dating is really just your opportunity for some people, it's their opportunity to get a free meal, a free outing, a free movie. As you all heard from our last video, episode 2, we talked about our first date. She was trying to get a free meal and free access to the movies, and I wasn't going. I was hip to it. So it didn't work out in her favor in that capacity. But yeah, dating what it used to be versus what it is now, dating is totally different. Dating for a lot of people becomes a smash and grab session. Smash and grab. Like, I'm going to smash, I'm going to grab my stuff and leave because I don't plan on investing time. To date doesn't really require an investment of anything outside of that 2 to 3 hour period you all are going to spend with each other. Yeah, dating doesn't really require an investment. I equate dating to somebody giving you a free sample at Sam's Club. Even though you know you're not going to buy that cheap piece of Tony's pizza that they're going to give you.
Tony's
pizza.
Worst pizza
Tastes
ever.
like cardboard and ketchup. Even though you're not going to, buy that pizza per se, you're still going to go in Sam's Club and walk down the frozen food aisle with hopes of trying a sample. So you've invested your time because you're probably in the store for something completely different. But you already know that you're not going to further invest in the product that they're trying to give you or sell you, but you're going to take it anyway. Let me just take a little bit of this since I'm here. And so I think dating has became, let me take what I can get since I'm in this position, since I'm here. When we approach the activity of dating with the mindset of I'm about to get me a free sample of her or him, that's when I think we approach it with the wrong mindset and content and context. It just all goes wrong. So I know when me and Joy started, I didn't want to date without any purpose. For me, I believe dating should be intentional. I'm really, really big on intentionality.
Dating on purpose.
Yes. And so that's perfect that she said that. Dating on purpose. I look at anything and everything I do it on purpose. And because of who I am, because of how I'm wired, I normally try to do it for purpose. So I look at everything I do. Am I doing it on purpose? Yes, because I did it. But I'm doing it for purpose. I want something to come from this that's going to benefit my life in some way. And I don't want it to be temporary. So if you're dating or considering dating, I would encourage you to really think about what's temporary within this dating process. Are you a sample in Sam's Club? Or are you something that's worth purchasing? And no pun intended, but my wife was someone who was worth purchasing. I didn't buy her, but the whole concept of me not having enough money.
It's just a metaphor.
Just a metaphor. It's a metaphor.
He didn't buy me because he was broke, remember?
And I couldn't buy her because she was priceless.
That's right.
Commercial break. Sorry, go ahead. So, talk about dating.
Yeah. So, when we dated, I would say that, the same thing for me. Definitely getting to know Chris, to see how he was as a person, what were his beliefs, if we were on the same page, if we liked the same things. All of those types of things were important to me. Spirituality was something that was important to me. So I had several things that I was looking for, and I think that's important too. When you're dating, you should be looking for something of substance.
Yeah.
Unless, this is, like Chris said, a smash and grab. And that is for some people. That wasn't my story. There were certain things that I was looking for when I went out with Chris, when we would go out. Oftentimes we would go out with friends and things like that. Get to know each other's friends. That's important too.
Yeah.
Because you don't mesh with everybody. And so all of that stuff is important. And then eventually, if it's something that's more serious, when you get to meet family members and things like that, you get a window into what you might be dealing with if you choose to one day marry that person. Because you marry that family.
One thing is, don't be afraid to take it slow.
Yeah.
With dating, so many people start to date and end up in relationships that they think are serious, and really there's no mutual understanding of the seriousness of that relationship, which is why commitment issues end up coming into play. I knew I didn't want to waste my time, so for me, dating, I don't have the money to waste. I don't have the money to waste. I don't have the time to waste. Before you even start dating, you need to know who you are and what you actually want. Whatever you entertain is what you will receive. So if you entertaining dick pics, if you entertaining DMs, messages.
Wait. I wasn't prepared for you to say that.
No. She wasn't ready.
Entertaining dick pics.
Yeah.
Sorry. So, hey, what you entertain is what you'll get. So, if you complaining about the guys that you're dating, but you're giving these guys that you're complaining about the time of day, what are you complaining? Because you're giving them your time. Same for the guys. If you're giving these ladies your time, but complaining, hey, there are no women out there that I enjoy or that are for me, who are you giving your time to?
That's our viewpoint on dating. Hopefully that was helpful for you. So we also talked about, as I said earlier, that we had some people that approached us about, can y'all talk about how to, like, these were exact words. Like, can you talk to us about how not to be a hoe? while you're dating. I had another friend say, can you talk about how to basically abstain while dating? So we kind of broke it down by like 5 things. And again, this is our opinion, this is our viewpoint. So I just want to make that clear.
Yeah, this is not law. This is not,
everybody has free will.
Everybody has free will. This is not like, hey, this is the way to do it. This is what we have noticed to work for us. We don't want you to think that all of your single struggles stop once you get married. No. Because once you get married,
there's more struggles.
You're balancing yours and you're balancing theirs and helping them maintain and balance their issues. So, although we understand that, and we understand that companionship is a huge value for a lot of people out there, no one wants to be alone. But there is life, there's freedom, there's wholeness, and there's peace in being single.
Well, there's nothing wrong with being single.
Yeah, there's nothing wrong with being single. Nothing at all wrong with being single.
At all.
Okay.
So, number one. So, we're talking about how to abstain, right? This is for those who want to.
No ringy, no dingy. I hate that.
I wasn't prepared.
Okay.
Sex is not the most important thing in a relationship. Sex is not the most important thing in a marriage.
Some people would argue.
Some people would argue, but I would say it's a piece. It is an important ingredient, definitely. But it's not the only thing that's important.
Yeah, sex is one of the most important.
Okay.
But it's not the most important. It's just one.
Number one. Discipline. That's a big one. If you're a person that your goal is to wait till you're married, maybe you've already had sex and you're like, you know what? I want to eliminate that from our relationships and wait to do that in the confines of a marriage. Good for you. One of the main things that's important to that, as we both have experienced, is discipline. You have to have self-discipline. You have to make a decision to say, this is what I want to do. This is what I'm going to do. How do you get disciplined? It's something that you practice. You have to practice that every day. And you will mess up sometimes.
You will.
You get right back up and you start again until you get stronger. As you get more disciplined, you get stronger. It's just like when you go to the gym. If you consistently go to the gym, you get stronger, you have more stamina, you're healthier, you're more agile. You just have, it's something that's a benefit for you. If you don't stay on task to that, then you get weaker. You're not as strong. You're not as disciplined. You gain weight. It's the same type of concept. So when it comes to trying to abstain, then you have to have self-discipline. It's a decision. You make the decision and you stick to it. And it's like you tunnel vision yourself on that.
A lot of sexual encounters start off in your mind. If you think about it, you're going to do it. And when we see things like on social media, when we see things on billboards, commercials, we can hear sounds. And it will trigger a thought, an emotion, or a feeling.
Or words.
Words, smells. We can turn on songs right now. We could turn on some Keith Sweat. I want to please you.
Keith Sweat?
I want you. What? I want you.
Some people will listen to Keith Sweat.
Some people listen to Tank. Let me see. When we
go to the church.
When we radio edit. When we what? Why are you moaning? But for the most part, wake up, calling me master. Sound like worship, like a worship song. When we touch.
Stupid.
Anyway, whoever you're listening to, whoever you are letting talk to you when you are in your subconscious areas or unconscious areas, when you sleep, the music you play, the things you do, all
your
influenced.
Unconscious areas. I hope you're not passed out. You can't think if you passed out.
If you sleep.
You said your unconscious areas.
Y'all know what I meant.
You mean it your subconscious?
Subconscious. See, I can't do nothing. I mean, your subconscious. Your
Yes.
subconscious. But what we listen to, the conversations we have, the people we hang around, the double taps we do on Instagram,
Yep.
all that
It
has the
stimulates,
ability
man.
to influence
It does.
our decisions and influences our mindsets. So we have to realign our mindsets on the goals. And if the goal is to abstain, because everybody's goal may not be to abstain.
Right.
And I understand. But if your goal is to abstain, then you have to realign your mind, reset some things up, and you have to really change your habits that will cause the unwanted behavior.
Yeah.
Much like changing your diet.
Exactly. I was just gonna say that.
You are? Look at us.
In my mind, yes.
Number 2, you want to make sure you create a standard. What's your standard? What do you want? What do you know? What information do you have? What data have you collected before you allow this to happen? Now, base your standard off whatever you pray to God, and what you want out of life. Base your standard in relationship off of the type of relationship you would like to have.
And be bold enough to stand on that. Number 3, communication.
Communication is key.
Yes, communication is everything. Up front, if you're trying to abstain and not have sex because you want to wait till you're married and you're dating and it's something that could potentially be serious, I think that's something that's fair to let someone know.
Yeah.
Because that's not everybody's plan. It's just not.
It's not.
Everybody's not trying to wait.
It's true.
And they want it right now.
True. Yesterday. They want it yesterday.
Yes. It's their sex and they need it now.
It's my sex and I need it now.
No, seriously though. I think it's something you should communicate in the beginning. That way you'll know, what they're on. Take sex off of the table and it forces them to deal with themselves. You can't use sex as a way to fill a void or to avoid confrontation or conflict.
If you ask why with everything, why am I mad? Why am I happy? Why am I sad? Why am I in this relationship? And then if you start breaking it all down, your why will answer everything you need to figure out.
Yeah.
Number 4. So deal with you, focus on you. You have to put yourself in a position where you want to be whole. So focusing on you should produce wholeness. When we replace brokenness with sex or any other activity and not deal with the broken fragments of us, we find ourselves putting a temporary band-aid on the cracks versus filling the cracks. We got to fill the cracks in our lives. And if that means going back to when you were 5 years old, 4 years old, 6 years old, 10 years old, that first sexual encounter, that first relationship, that first time you felt sexy, you may have to go back to that and really evaluate that. And where were you broken? I'm not saying people who like sex are broken. I'm not saying that at all. Don't get me wrong. I love sex too. Okay? But when it comes down to it, for those who are struggling with holding themselves and keeping themselves from being broke in, let's go back and look at the fragments of you. Let's go back and look at the pieces of you that have caused you to be in this state of loneliness, of depression, of hurt, of promiscuity, whatever it is that's caused you to be broken in those areas. Let's look at what it is. What are you filling those areas with? What do you fill those cracks with?
I mean, for me, it was talking to God, prayer, or having a conversation with my mentor and kind of, again, unpacking, looking at some stuff, focusing on me and trying to figure out the areas that need to be fixed in my life. That's how I focused on me. When focusing on you, again, it could be counseling. It could be getting your life together. That could be so many things. It could be different goals that you have personally. It could be getting your finances right, getting your mind right because you have crazy. It could be so many things that you need to focus on that sometimes when you bring sex into the equation, it will totally deter those things that you really need to be looking at in your life because sex becomes it becomes a filler. It fills the cracks.
Yeah.
But once you take that off the table, a lot of things are exposed that you didn't deal with because you didn't have to, because you can mask it.
Yeah.
And that's not to say that sex is the only way you can mask things, but in specifically talking about that as a situation, that's my view on it.
Number 5.
Number 5, you have to change your habits.
Yeah.
That's a big thing. I mean, I feel like that should be obvious, but if your goal is to not have sex, you can't be watching movies in the dark, hand in hand, all up on each other, under a blanket, by yourself. Something's gonna happen. It's gonna be some Netflix and chill. You could put yourself in certain situations that will totally deter you from the goal, right? So if the goal is to try to abstain for whatever reason that is for you, then you can't put yourself in situations where you're gonna fall.
Yeah.
What we would do, we would go out, with a group of friends. It's also, staying over night, and that's a struggle. You probably shouldn't stay overnight, or have certain conversations, or even watch certain things, and not necessarily together, but apart as well, because then it's going to be on your mind. And in the society that we are in now with technology and everything, sex is everywhere. Sometimes you got to cut stuff off. Sometimes you got to not listen to certain things because it takes you there mentally. And once you're there mentally, next point is the action. Yeah. All it takes is a thought, and then there's the action. You can only get a different result from doing something different. Yeah. So sometimes you have to change how you do things, how you move.
Make sure y'all subscribe to Rockin' with the Mitchells. If you really rocking with us, if you really enjoyed the content,
click that like button.
Please click that like button. Also, we got an amazing episode. We're going to talk about immaturity versus insecurity. Mm-hmm. That right there is a relationship killer. It's a friendship killer.
Almost killed our relationship.
It almost killed our relationship. Stay tuned for episode 4. If you're rocking with the Mitchells, make sure you subscribe, share, and like. We love y'all. Thank y'all. God bless y'all. Peace.